Maybe we should have a Trump moment. I mean, because of Donald Trump, we all know about the Paris Agreement. You know, he said he was coming out of the Paris Agreement, and then we had a series of climate disruptions around the world. So I think every citizen in the world now knows in 2015, you know, heads of state signed up to the climate agreement. So I don't know what needs to be done, but something needs to be done to get citizens aware of the 2030 agenda.
Do you have any personal recommendations for advancing the implementation of the 2030 agenda?
Yes, the first thing is that the person in charge have to communicate on what they do and have to explain why they do it. Because in a number of cases, people can accept to make some efforts, to make some sacrifice, or to move towards a new model if it is clearly explained. And I would say more in a more simple way that let's do it. So we have to stop to have only big declarations, which is one of the issues. We have to say clearly, we are going to do it, we are committed, and then we have to be accountant. It means then that the citizens have also not only to be aware, but also to be active part of the process.
I think one of the really important things we need to do is to have a better communication between the policymakers and the many communities that will be impacted by the 2030 agenda. So in order to implement, we need the people to be part of the process. And that means they need to understand what is the 2030 agenda. They need to understand it's about their future. They need to think about how they can bring it into their own lives. And that will help in making this an agenda for everyone and for Europe as a whole.
If I would have the possibility, I would like to send a message for the European people, and I would like to tell them that we can live in a better and sustainable world, but everyone's help is needed.
The only way we're not going to leave people behind is to think about this transformation as a social, being able to give a social goal, a social uptake to everyone. We will not fight alone. We will only fight with everyone, not leaving anyone behind. And that is the Sustainable Development Goals. It is not about numbers. It is not about anything else. It is about, we want to, all of us, go under this transformation and this transition. So that's the advice is, make sure you're able to explain that to people to touch their heart and not only to touch their intellect.
To whom would you want to give this recommendation?
Well, I think we want to give the recommendation to member states as well as to the Commission. I know some member states are doing quite a bit, but I think these are the key recommendations because I think it's important to start doing the work to get citizens on board. I mean, if you go to the citizens in the street and you mention 2030 agenda or sustainable development goals, they have no idea what you're talking about.
The 2030 agenda is something that is going to impact all of us in every way in our lives. And so it's something where we all need to think about what can we do to contribute. So if you ask me who should be doing this, it's not just some politician in Brussels or in a national government somewhere. It's you, it's me, it's all of us.
I would like to recommend it for the European people.
Well, I will give it to all citizens, but that's clear that the most important ones are the youngsters. We are speaking about future generations, which means that youngsters have to commit, not to be deceived and to say it does not work, politics, it's just rubbish, I do not believe in institutions. On the contrary, people have to mobilize, have to be in associations, and have to also to vote and to exert that right of vote. If when you are 20, you are not committed for the SDGs, I don't see how we can achieve the goals.
To whom would you want to give this recommendation?
Well, basically, I will give it to anyone. I will give it to the NGOs. I will give it to the guy who's owning his own business, small business, and trying to explain to the 3 people working for him that they're working for the planet, for a better good, for everyone who will be put in difficulty because of climate change. And they have their place in this planet. They have a role to play, giving meaning to what they're doing. We're just dying because we don't know why we're doing this. We're not doing this because climate change is just a threat on your house or whatever. We're doing this because there's only one planet. There's no planet B. And we want something to, to strive for. Well, this is for everyone who wants to strive for his planet and for people.